Do you know that in our community, children with autism are often abandoned and misunderstood? This is Kofi, a young boy whose life took a tragic turn when his family rejected him due to his condition. After losing his only caregiver, his beloved grandmother, Kofi was left to survive alone on the streets. When I found Kofi, he was in desperate need of love and compassion. I decided to step in and give him the care he deserved, embarking on a journey to defy the stigma and ignorance that surrounded him. Join me as I share Kofi's heart-wrenching yet inspiring story. Let's work together to challenge harmful beliefs and show every child the love they deserve. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to follow Kofi's journey. The most painful aspect of life is when you have parents and family, yet everyone rejects you. They all abandon you while living in the same town, living their lives as if you do not exist. No one thinks about your existence at all, simply because you are born with a health disorder that requires consideration, but instead gets neglected. Kofi, an autistic child, needed to be treated and cared for by his parents and family, but never received such care. When his parents realized he had an illness that couldn't be cured and would require significant financial resources, they decided to abandon him on the streets, leaving him to fend for himself every day. It's hard to fathom the depth of loneliness and despair that Kofi must have felt, watching his family, who should have been his support, turn away from him, leaving him to navigate a world that was already challenging without their rejection. There was only one person who stood firm and decided to care for him no matter what: his grandmother. She took Kofi wherever she went, played with him when she had free time, and fed him when he was hungry. She treated him with so much love, but tragically she passed away, leaving Kofi completely alone. With his grandmother gone, no one considered him a human being, leaving him no option but to live on the streets. Kofi's parents, who should have loved and cared for him, turned their backs on him. Kofi had 6 other siblings and was the 5th born, the only one among them with autism. All his other siblings lived healthy, normal lives, completely unaware or indifferent to Kofi's plight. Imagine the pain of seeing your siblings receiving the love and care that you are denied simply because you are different. Kofi's mother, who should have been his caregiver after his grandmother's death, instead moved from one pastor to another, convinced that his condition was the work of the devil. Every pastor she visited told her that Kofi was possessed by an evil spirit. This led her to abandon her own son, believing he was a wizard. It's heartbreaking to see how those who should offer spiritual guidance instead sow fear and misunderstanding, turning parents against their children instead of offering comfort and support. These pastors, instead of using their positions to educate and offer solace, propagate harmful beliefs that destroy families and leave children like Kofi vulnerable and alone. After his grandmother's death, the treatment Kofi received at home worsened. They treated him so poorly that they would pour water in the corridor where he slept, preventing him from having a place to rest at night. This cruel treatment continued for a long time until Kofi realized he was not wanted there. He decided to leave the house and live on the streets. Life on the streets was harsh, a transition from one form of suffering to another. Even his own family had rejected him, so how could he expect compassion from strangers? He was bullied day and night, living as if he were mad. There was no food to eat, no water for bathing, no change of clothes, and so many other deprivations. His existence was one of constant struggle and relentless pain. Kofi's life on the streets was a daily battle for survival. Each day was a question mark, filled with uncertainty about where his next meal would come from, or where he could find a safe place to sleep. The streets are unforgiving, especially for someone as vulnerable as Kofi. Without proper care and protection, every day was a fight against hunger, cold, and the cruelty of people who did not understand his condition. When I met Kofi, he clung to me as his everything because I was the only one who treated him with love and care. I played with him, showed him kindness, and treated him as my own brother. I provided for his needs, always buying him food, getting him new clothes, and taking him out when necessary. Kofi became accustomed to the times I would bring him food, waiting for me with the assurance that even if I didn't bring him food in the morning, he would definitely get some in the afternoon or evening. For many years, Kofi walked barefoot, which severely affected his feet. When I met him, I was told he didn't like wearing slippers, so it didn't occur to me to get him any. Kofi now had someone who loved him, and people started wondering why I was so attached to him. Some even approached me, asking what I gained from helping him. They tried to convince me that being close to Kofi would negatively affect my work since they believed he was an evil child. I didn't let their words bother me because I knew he was autistic, not evil. Although no doctor had confirmed his illness, I didn't care about what others thought of him. I always ordered him special food from a different town, which was about a 15-mile drive from his own. This gesture was not just about providing for his needs, but about showing him that he mattered, that someone cared enough to go the extra mile for him. This is a long story with many twists and turns. The dress Kofi is wearing is one he had worn for a very long time. Autism is an illness that needs to be recognized in our society. When a child is born with such a disorder, they need to be treated with love and care. Being autistic does not mean one is possessed by an evil spirit. In Africa, we often attribute everything to evil forces and neglect matters that require medical assistance. Seeing Kofi hug me with so much love made me realize that making others laugh and feel loved is a blessing for us. Though Kofi cannot verbally thank me, his gestures show that he likes me too. If Kofi had not met me, he might not have survived. The streets are a harsh and unforgiving place, especially for someone as vulnerable as Kofi. It is a reminder of how crucial it is to embrace and care for those with special needs. Instead of casting doom on them in the name of God or gods, spiritual leaders should use their divine gifts to offer support and encouragement, helping parents understand and care for their children properly. We need to change our perspectives and embrace special children, showing them the love and support they deserve. Kofi's story is a testament to the power of compassion and the impact that a single person can have on another's life. We must recognize the damaging role that misguided spiritual advice can play in the lives of vulnerable children. Parents, desperate for answers, turn to pastors and spiritualists for guidance. Instead of providing comfort and understanding, these figures often cast doom, blaming the child's condition on evil spirits or curses. This not only perpetuates fear and stigma, but also results in the abandonment and mistreatment of children who desperately need love and care. Autistic children like Kofi are not evil. They are not possessed or cursed. They are special, deserving of love, understanding, and support. Our society must learn to see beyond the myths and superstitions that surround conditions like autism. We need to educate ourselves and others, spreading awareness about the realities of such disorders and the importance of compassion. Kofi's story should serve as a wake-up call to all of us. It is time to stop allowing ignorance and fear to dictate how we treat the most vulnerable among us. It is time to embrace these children, to give them the love and care they deserve. If we do not, we are complicit in their suffering. My experience with Kofi has been profoundly moving. Seeing him transform from a lonely, abandoned child to one who can express joy and affection has been a blessing. His journey has taught me the importance of compassion, the power of love, and the critical need for societal change. I hope that by sharing Kofi's story, I can inspire others to look beyond their prejudices and fears. Let us work together to create a world where every child, regardless of their condition, can receive the love and care they need. Let us be the change that our society so desperately needs. My name is Asonaba Owusu Aduomi. Please follow me here on YouTube as I bring the next episode. Bye-bye.